Yo, what's going on, guys? Degidio. We are back with another episode of the Jaxxon Sports Show. I'm sitting here with the greatest co-host of all time, Twitch. And today we have a legend in the house. We have the GOAT of all goats.
I don't know about that. There's a lot of goats out
Won
there.
a title on every brand, every bike he ran.
Yeah.
Greatest two-wheel competitor of all time. 75% win streak. This man right here was probably riding in the toughest era of all time.
I don't know about that.
And he did things no one will probably ever do. Statistics probably no one will ever put up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Ricky Carmichael.
Oh, what did I walk into is what I'm wondering.
27 energy drinks deep.
Had one coffee.
Dude, thanks for the mention. Yeah, it was, got lucky a few times. I got to be careful what I say around this guy because every little anything that I mispronounce or do anything, the guy's going to be on me.
I would
hard,
never.
Hard.
To the GOAT.
The guy's always clowning me.
I would never disrespect
You would
him.
clown.
Yeah,
It's all in fun.
get.
It's all in fun. It's all in fun.
How far back does your relationship go? You two?
Long time, dude.
I just would see him
Well,
around
I'm
all the time.
45.
I'm 43.
Okay. So like, I mean, he was coming up as a young kid and I was a couple years older than him.
Yeah, I
and
think when I was riding
like-
for Fox back, probably when I was like 15, 16, like I would like run into him every now and then, like at races or it's just stuff like that.
I mean, I would say like FMX like blew up. Like Twitch hit it at the perfect time.
Yeah, couldn't have been any better for me.
Right. It was just like blowing up. ESPN was pumping it, and like it was the thing. You know what I mean? So I just I was the hardcore racer.
These
and then
dudes are
some of the guys
dumbasses.
that
Look
I
at
was
these
racing.
guys
Some of the
doing
guys
tricks.
that I was racing with were going back and doing FMX and all that stuff. So I would naturally just watch them because I raced with these dudes.
Yeah.
And anyhow, so that's how the relationship.
That was pretty incredible. I mean, even this morning, we're here at the Jaxxon Media House.
Yeah.
We had Jet Lawrence and Hunter Lawrence here. We had CJ. So we have a lot of culture in moto right now and freestyle motocross, supercross because of Twitch and what he brings to the brand. Right now, our main focus is trying to really get behind the athletes and the people and the culture at the most authentic level. And by doing that with Twitch after the last couple of years, it's finally starting to show. So to be able to have you on our show today,
Thanks.
pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I think what's cool about what you're doing, you talked a lot about it, is about the culture and the vibe. And it's just not like, you're just not paying someone to pump your brand, right?
Yeah.
The athletes are stoked on it. Like when I see you, whether I see the Lawrences here today, like they genuinely into the product and they like it. And it's not a pushed agenda. And that's what's cool because I think at the end of the day, everybody can kind of see between the lines.
Yeah.
It's
It's just a vibe around here. Everyone, and if you don't know what it is, everyone is always asking about it. Everyone wants to be a part of it. And it's like, all we're doing is just having fun.
Right. Yeah.
That's literally all it is, all day long.
At the most simple level, I think all it is everybody being able to be themselves. We do live in a culture right now in a society where mainstream brands feel like they could just buy an athlete and be like, you're our robot now. And for me, it's always been the opposite. If I'm going to get behind somebody, it's because they do what they do. Right. Twitch has a brand. I want you to wear your brand. I want you to show off your tattoos. I want you to smoke or drink or do whatever it is you like to do.
Right.
I'm not going to tell you how to live your life because people love you for who you are.
Yeah. That's
right.
My job is just to help people see who you are at the most authentic level.
100%. I mean, when you can see it, you can see it with everyone that you support.
Yeah.
And I love it. I think it's awesome. And again, it's raw, it's real, it's genuine, and people can see right through the BS.
Yeah.
For sure.
With you, where you're at in your career right now and everything that you've done, did you ever think you would be in the position you are in right now?
No
like
shot.
as a little kid, like
No shot. No shot whatsoever. I mean, dude, I'm a little kid that grew up in Florida. I'm a fourth generation Floridian. Still, I haven't left there. Had the opportunity to leave there to come out here in California, like the late 90s when I first turned pro. And I just stayed back there. It was easier for me. And dude, then the next thing you know, you start winning and, you're getting all these opportunities, making some cheddar. And then, just one thing led to another. It's pretty interesting because I never planned on doing this. You know, like I was like, you just roll along, and then one thing just keeps manifesting. It's pretty cool.
You could have been a professional three-wheeler racer too.
I know
at
you
one
like
point.
that, don't you?
I've never seen
That's
some of those
right.
photos.
Yeah. So Yamaha Trizinger,
That was my
three-wheeling.
very first bike ever. The yellow and red one.
Oh, you had the yellow. Mine was blue.
Yep.
I had a blue one.
I think the blue one was before the yellow and red one.
Was it?
Which you are 2 years older than me, so it kind of makes sense, you know? So
I got you covered on that, but not only by a couple years. But yeah, it's just crazy. And a lot of people always like asked, like, well, dude, how did you get to where you were? And it's really pretty simple, just hard work, straight up. It sounds boring, and everyone wants some gnarly story about this, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I think the only thing that's gnarly about my story is just how much I trained, rode, and prepared compared to my competitors. But at the end of the day, dude, there's no magic pill or nothing like that got me the success that I did. It was just straight up, just going, if my competitors were training an hour a day, I'm doing an hour and a half a day.
I've heard it from so many different top tier athletes. Like Ricky changed the game with training and like made it more serious and like a job. And like a lot of guys were like, he made it not fun because we knew if we, like you said, if we were working an hour, he was working 2 hours. So it was like, they were always wondering what you were doing. And I think it's so funny like how times have changed, because back in the day, you would ride by yourself. Yeah. Like you're not riding, you're not testing with anyone. You don't have anyone to like mark yourself on the track or pace off of, where all these teams like Star now have the whole squad out there racing. So you can kind of have like a mark of, oh, okay, Deegan's looking good. You know, just like that.
Looking good. Yeah. And anybody, you name it. Yeah. So yeah, that was my deal. And then I didn't want to show people what I was doing. I was like top secret. The game has changed so much, but I do blame MC for me changing the game, because listen, dude, I'm coming up against the king of Supercross, right? No one was able to dethrone that guy over and over and over.
He's winning everything at the time. Like,
yeah. And no one could keep it together for, 16 round Supercross season. And I knew that I had the on track game and the racecraft, but I didn't have the fitness to support that. And so going into the 2001 season, I'm like, dude, I got to do a transformation. I got to get right. I got to get the diet right, the gym right, cardio right. And one thing, I started chipping away at that in the middle of 2000. And then came into 2001 and it ended up winning the series and never lost a championship from that point on. And I retired from racing in 2007. But dude, those were the measures that I had to take to beat the greatest guy to ever do it. So everyone says, dude, you screwed it up. It's not fun anymore. I'm like, dude, you need to blame MC. If he wasn't so damn good,
you wouldn't have been working your ass off so hard at home. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, right. And I mean, it's really that simple. It's like, okay, how do I beat this guy in a 16 round championship? And I have to be in better shape. I have the speed, but I can't go the speed for 20 laps because I gas out. And then I'm like, dude, if I can go 20 laps, it's game on. And that's really the simplest way to put it.
Was there anyone that like you loved battling with when you'd come up on them on the track, or they'd come up on you, like where you had like full trust, like, okay, this is going to be like the best race of the night right now?
Yeah, great question. So going back, probably a lot of people listening to this podcast won't know, but Steve Lamson.
Yep.
That guy was unbelievable. We could have hellacious battles. I never had
to look. Is this when you guys were on 125s?
That's right. Yeah, like 97, 98. I never had to look over my shoulder. Kevin Windham was really good. And then in the pro ranks, for sure, MC was a lot of fun. A lot of fun to race. Bubs was a lot of fun to race, especially later on in his career.
When he matured a little bit.
Yeah, when he matured a little bit and knew like the buck wildness was kind of easing off a little bit. Not that he would do anything intentionally, but man, I've been lucky. I've been lucky to come through the ranks that I did and race some of the best guys ever to do it. MC is one. K-Dub is one. I mean, you're talking about guys that got some heat. There's no doubt about it. Although I will say in this day and age, like the Lawrences and who they're facing, dude, there's 5 or 6 guys that have a legit shot that can win. I mean, we're talking about Anaheim tomorrow. I mean, you going to bet against Eli? No. You going to bet against Hunter? No. Jet, Chase, Coop could win. Kenny could win. In our day, it was a little bit easier in that regard. Like there wasn't 5.
There was like the top 2, and then it kind of fell off. Dude, if anyone else could have been in there. Like,
that's right. If we got a bad start, we talk about it like in my day with Bubs and Chad, or even like MC. If we got a dead last start, if I didn't win, MC was going to get second, or vice versa. Today, it ain't
like you said, there's 5, 6 different dudes that can win. Anderson's ripping right now. Like, I mean, everyone looks good.
Look at Eli, A1, falls down, comes back to 5th. Last weekend, Chase falls down, comes back to 6th.
Yeah,
it's just that tough.
I feel like the the sport right now is like thriving too, like just with the fans, just how many people are around moto again. Like I feel like it's like blowing back up again.
What do you like about it? Like, what do you guys like about Supercross?
I love the racing. I love the good, clean battling. Like I love seeing some good takeouts too. You look for freeze for those, but everyone else around, like I love seeing good ass battles, and I just love seeing the crowd get into it. And it's like same thing like when I rode freestyle. It was like just like the atmosphere of the fans. Like when you hear that, like you're not paying attention, but you are paying attention. You know, like you're trying to block it out. But just hearing that and seeing that, being in the stands watching, I'm like, it just gives you like the chills, and like you're like, this dirt bikes are dope.
Because that's what like everyone always asks me, like, dude, what do you love about the racing? I'm like, well, dude, I love a good battle. I respect what they do because I know what they're going through. But I always want to know, like, what do you like about it?
Yeah,
you know? And that's
for sure, because you probably get asked that question all the time.
Yeah, I mean, like for me, it's just, dude, I love seeing a good battle and I love seeing whether it's a guy like Jet, Chase, Eli, Coop, all the current guys. I love seeing it go down to the wire.
Yep.
You know, straight up, heads up battle. Who can win in the toughest conditions? Whether it's love seeing dudes melt down. Because I just want to see who is the strongest dude out there.
I love seeing the racecraft between dudes and dudes. Just like Webb, like he's so good with like never even looking at you, but knowing exactly where you are to like brake check you into the corner. Like just having that awareness and putting down 20 plus laps, like as fast as you can possibly go. Like everything's coming up so quick, you know?
We'll get Bear. Can you imagine if Bear was on Supercross? It'd be unbelievable.
He would. He would still be on the gate because he can't use a clutch.
You put me on a you put me on a 450, everybody's going down. If I had the speed underneath my legs, everybody's done.
Oh.
Just like I ride a bull, I'd ride that bike straight to the finish line. I know. Honestly, I think that the thing that's so striking and so unique about Supercross in the world of moto in general, freestyle, Supercross, motocross, is that it's very untouched, but the athletes have so much character, so much soul, so much passion for what they do. But besides the main 4 or 5 brands, no one's coming in to put these guys on a different pedestal to help them become these like major league sports athletes in the US on a mainstream level. And I feel like what we've been able to do with Jaxxon because of Twitch and Sheckler and, you know, the Lawrence brothers is kind of coming in and supporting them on a different level. Because I love the competitiveness. Like I love competition. We sponsor the best MMA guys, best skating guys, best surfing guys. These subcultures, they don't get enough touch. And because of X Games and all these other like obsolete events, I feel like right now the whole market's for the taking. So
and I think that the kids, the racers growing up now are seeing that opportunity in the world of social media that we live in. Like they're seeing the upside of it, and I think, you know, brands like Jaxxon, what you guys are doing and what you've created with the culture is definitely helping. Like you talk about all these other sports that you guys are in so deep with the best athletes. I mean, now, like the Lawrence brothers are being exposed to UFC and surfing and skating and so on and so forth. And honestly, that's what it takes. And I feel like we're right on the cusp of being like super, super mainstream. Like, and it just takes, you know, brands like this and movements like this to get it there for sure.
Moto is so gnarly. And like, I remember hearing Pastrana talking about, you can take any dude who's physically fit, but he's like, you try throwing them on a motorcycle. He's like, I feel like the motorcycle athlete is probably the most fit dude in the world.
Oh yeah.
They are fit. I think power to weight ratio and cardio, I think they're pretty sporty. You know, I mean, there's so many good athletes, as you guys know, especially
with
UFC.
Everything.
With everything. I think it's, you know, specific to discipline, no doubt, but overall in a challenge course, you know, I'd put them up against some really gnarly athletes for sure.
And just like the pain tolerance and stuff like that. You see so many sports where people get hurt and they're sidelined for the whole year, where you're like, I've seen people ride a whole season with that.
Look at Joe Shimoda last weekend.
I mean? Yeah.
Ripped
Pitboard
his
just
whole hand
weeds his hand. Like,
dude,
his hand looked gnarly.
Dude, you know what I was thinking?
Looked like a UFC fighter.
He's lucky he didn't like that, like the finger didn't get cut off.
Yeah.
Because that pitboard was like completely sideways. Yeah, like that'd have been bad.
I mean, but the fact that he's able to just go put on this like makeshift cast wiring harness and then just go right back out there. Because Joe Cancelleri is his trainer. He's in here every morning.
Yeah.
And so I was like, let me see the photo. And I'm like, oh, I wouldn't be able to ride. Yeah, he's like, no, that's the way these guys are different.
Yeah, like what Twitch was saying, is like they don't get enough credit for the, you know, like how they ride injured and the severity of the injury.
Yeah.
I mean, whether it's a torn ACL, what have you, you know, obviously a little bit different in traditional sports, stick and ball, where you really like you're pivoting on your legs a lot more. So the ACL is going to be needed quite a bit more. But these guys don't get the credit that they deserve for sure, and damn sure don't get paid what they deserve for the risk that they take.
Yes. What was one of the worst injuries you had throughout your career?
Well, I had both my ACLs repaired, but the gnarliest crash that I ever had was St. Louis 2006, and I was going through the whoops.
Is that when you hit the boat?
No, that was Dallas. I'm going through the whoops, and they were really small, and they were close together, and my hand slipped off, and my left hand slipped off. The bike rotated forward, and my knees got caught on the handlebars, and my hands got kind of caught, and I couldn't put my hands out the block. And as I was going into the whoops, still to this day, and these memories, the memory is so vivid to me. I'm going over, and I'm just like, oh my God, like just please let me walk away from this.
Yeah.
This whack, like my head went down. I cracked my sternum, and luckily. I got up from it, but that was the scariest one ever, dude. I remember going like everything went slow motion. I said, well, this is probably the end of it. And like, just let me walk away.
It's so gnarly when you have that much time. Like, even though the crash is happening quick to you, how it slows down to have time to think like, oh, this one's going to hurt, or this could be the end. Like, I've had so many crashes like that.
I can't imagine. Like, you know what's gnarly about me? Like when I watch you guys and how gnarly the tricks are that you guys do today. And I'm like, you guys have no limits. I mean, now that you're older, I mean, you're like, okay, dude, I ain't messing with
I just
that.
ride for fun now.
Yeah,
like,
that's the way it should be. You've earned that right. But I'm like, each trick that you guys do, and say you crash, but you walk away, it's just like, we're good. We're gonna keep going.
Yeah.
I'm like, where does it stop?
You still went 75 feet with no bike. Like, that's gonna always hurt. You know what I mean? Like, that's like our smallest jump that we jump.
Do you ever feel like in FMX, like to kind of tone down the exposure of getting hurt, that maybe they should do like session it and do the highest, not riskiest tricks, but difficult tricks, if that makes sense. But yeah, you still appreciate it rather than going gnarly.
I just feel like with freestyle motocross, like everyone's just trying to be better than you. You know what I mean? So it's like they're gonna do whatever they want to do to beat you at the next contest, whether it's getting hurt. You know what I mean? Like, kind of like
I'd be so scared. Like when I would go walk the track in my later years, I would be like, God, I hope these guys don't do this jump. I hope these guys don't do this jump.
Because you see it and you know you're like, yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
Who's going to do it first? Like, dude, this is
like, please don't do this. Please don't do this.
Because then if they do it, you have to do it.
If you want a chance to win.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, being in that position to me is like, that sucks. At least it sucked for me. Mm-hmm. Like, you didn't have that feeling when you were in FMX. Like, dude, like, you had to go bigger. Like, that didn't like scare you a little bit?
I kind of had that feeling a little bit, but like me and Nate Adams towards like the end of our career, me and Nate Adams became like really good friends, and we started riding a lot, like when we were both like going back and forth. And me and him, because you always got to pair up in practice, because you couldn't put all the dudes out there at once, you know. So me and Nate started riding practice together, and I told him one day, I'm like, we should go out dead last. I'm like, we're the ones that flip everything first, like whether it's a dirt jump or a hip, or we're gonna flip something that no one else is. But whenever we go out first and we flip something, we show everyone else that it's possible. So me and him started showing up like 6, 7 in the morning, put our name down dead last for practice. So you get your first 5-minute practice and then your second 5-minute practice. In our second 5-minute practice, we would go out and we would go flip everything. So no one else had the chance to do that before qualifying. Like we would go out in qualifying and do it, and we would already feel comfortable. So I felt like we were kind of ones setting the bar of like scaring the other guys. Like, okay, fuck, those guys just did that. Now we have to do it. But we got to do it in practice, and we didn't have to do it in our qualifying run or our final run. We already did it, you know?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like our technique. Is like, let's scare these dudes and let's show them what's done, but let's show them after it's too late, where they have to do it during the run, where they're gonna maybe miss a couple tricks, thinking about, dang, I still have to flip that jump at the end of this run.
Such a mindset.
Yeah.
Right? Like, see, like that feeling to me, like I'd be like, I'd tap out. I'd be like, nah, there's no
much.
Yeah, just
Well, that's where I am now. Like I see these dudes doing triple flips, wanting to do
quad
flips,
what's up with
and I'm just
that?
like, I only want to do one flip. You go to demos, everyone's like, do a front flip, do a double. I'm like, no. I'm like, no.
I mean, like, think of like the triple, dude, the amount of air those dudes have to get.
And the force of how quick they're spinning, like the G's that they're pulling is insane.
But the evolution of the trick too, like it's going to just keep going to a borderline where then it just becomes literally just too risky. Like
well, that's where I'm thinking like, okay, well, why don't you guys do like a combination of tricks? Yeah, they're difficult, but they're not a triple.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
but it's just someone wanting to set that bar higher and higher than the next guy. You know what I mean? And it's crazy. I with freestyle, it's hard to say, but I don't feel like there's any limits. It's just, are you dumb enough to try it?
That's the way it is. That's the way it looks to me. I'm just like, because you guys keep going bigger and bigger and bigger. Up, you walk away from that one. Oh, I'm going for it.
I used to never get nervous going to events and like watching everyone ride. Now I get there and I'm like nervous. Like I don't even want to be here. You're like, sometimes I'll be doing something. I'm like, I'm gonna turn around.
That's like me watching the I'm not clowning on the privateers or anything, but like the C group practice at Supercross.
You know, people are going down.
Like,
and you're like
they make the track look scary for me. I'm like, dude, I ain't riding that track. There ain't no way. But then the other guys get on there like, oh, okay, it's not so bad. It's not so bad.
When you're talking about riding, you know, since we're on the subject, 15 AMA championships, right?
Yep.
You have 10 in motocross, 5 in supercross. And I feel like the eras, like I was talking to Twitch about this morning at breakfast, like you went through this era where you have Jeremy McGrath, who's, you know, the king, and you have to like dethrone him and kind of like make your mark on the game, like you said.
Yep.
And that guy did something that's like no one will probably ever duplicate.
I thought Bubba was going to.
I did too.
He had the tangibles to do it. He won at a young age.
Yeah.
You know, and it just happened.
But then you had a second era. You had to battle like a second era as well. First, you had to like kind of dethrone the king.
Totally.
Then you had to worry about James Stewart.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you were able, how Twitch is able to like transcend culture with tricks and freestyles. And he has young friends, old friends, the icons, the pioneers, but the new one coming up. Seems like you were able to just stay elite through the entire time.
Yeah, and a lot of that is of the people that I had behind me, dude. I flew under the radar. This goes back to like living in Florida, growing up in Florida, never moving out to California. And like, I was just kind of, I was
in
hidden,
your own
you know?
bubble.
Yeah, I was just in my own bubble. I wasn't hanging out with any of these guys or anything. Not for
everyone in California.
Not for any
like,
bad reason. Like, yeah. So like, I wasn't
all.
like people, a lot of people didn't know me, didn't know my personality. And trust me, dude, I have a great time. I live life to the fullest. I just don't
But
do
no
it.
one needed to know that.
I just don't do it in California and in front of everybody. Right. So, yeah, I just kind of was under the radar in my own bubble, but Twitch and I grew up in the same generation of, we've seen all the progression. I mean, you mentioned it, dude. We raced and competed on 2 strokes, steel chassis, 2 strokes, aluminum chassis, 4 strokes, aluminum chassis. Like we went through this progression. Now everything's EFI. And yes, like we grew up and went through a gnarly progression. I mean, do you look at the McGrath days and the people that we raced with and where it is to like me and Bubba racing. And now when James and Chad and all them retired, and then now you got the Lawrences and RV and, you know, like those are gnarly progressions.
So many greats.
And I think I was just able to, and Tomac's kind of done it a little bit. If you think about it, like where he was, this is his 11th consecutive season that he's been able to win a premier class race, which is gnarly. Like he's just elevating with the times.
What year did you retire?
2007 was my final season, but the difference, it's so hard because I never want to like discredit anyone, like, but the level from the guys that I was racing in mine and MC's era where we were battling it out to the end in 07 where Stu and Chad and I were racing, it was gnarly, dude.
Yeah, it was.
And now I look like from that point, then RV stepped it up and Dungy, and then now the level now is I just don't know how they do all that stuff.
How old were you when you retired?
27.
Did you ever like see I feel like that's later in the game, like when you see some of these dudes retiring now. Yeah. Did you ever at one point be like, I wish I would have stayed another year? Or
I played that game in my head a couple times, and I always, you know, I fight with it sometimes. Like if I would have raced, probably would have made 10, 15 mil more. But I don't know that I would have been miserable because it would have been harder to win.
So much
and
work.
The risk. that I would have had to take
Yeah.
to beat, James is doing stuff. Like when you would go to the track and be like, dude, I hope he doesn't do this. That sucks.
Yeah.
So then it takes the fun out of racing.
For sure.
I'm racing scared, basically. Not scared, but I'm like,
you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone.
that's
like,
right.
Really, really
and
bad.
if I hit the deck, it's over. And like, I got plenty of money to live. Like, so in that regard, I don't really regret racing because that money, not to sound cocky, it wouldn't have changed it wouldn't be like going from 50 million to 200 million.
Yeah. Not like a huge,
Know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for
Which
sure.
So
most
like,
people
And
don't
it's
get
risk
that.
and
versus
honestly,
reward.
like, and even my wife now, she's like, dude, like, you would have been so miserable. Like,
Yeah.
the money
Yeah.
wouldn't have been worth it.
And you
So
seem
no.
like you got out good. Like you weren't too hurt. Like you
was.
walk around fine now.
Yeah.
Like you're still happy.
Yeah,
So
I'm
cool.
stoked. Yeah, so like, and I was so burnt from when I signed my Suzuki deal. I did 2 full years, and I did that partial year in 2007. Like I was fried. Like I'm just like I only got about 2.5 more years in me.
How
but that
hard-
was a lot back then, dude.
it was.
10-year professional career back then. I don't know how it was
Top-tier
in FNZ.
10-year
Yeah,
career.
like it's just like every single year you're like, fuck, I got to defend the championship. I got to win the championship again. It's just, it's different now because. Like I use Kenny as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Guy's making some good cheddar. He's not going to push it over his limit. He's going to make, he's going to
knows
make
where he
his
falls into
he's going to
place.
make his grip. He ain't racing for a championship. If it's there, of course he'll take it.
Yep.
But I mean, he ain't gonna win no championship, dude.
He's still having fun. And he's like, I have a
Making
good,
money.
a solid off season.
There
I'm
you
hanging
go.
on the boat with my family. And then I get to go race some supercross.
That's right, and that's why I think that the guys are going deeper in their age this year, just because. And I'm kind of envious of it a little bit because I'm like, dude, I wish I could have had that mindset. But dude, I was a championship or nothing guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So you showed it. I mean,
Yeah,
that's the difference.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
you actually did it.
And I don't think that Jet and a guy like Eli and a guy like Chase, I don't think that they'll stick around long, like, and just race for the money and know that they don't have a legit shot to win multiple races and championships. I think it's just a mindset.
What was your mindset like after you got your first perfect season?
Dude, I never even planned on having a perfect season.
I don't think anyone ever does. Like,
No,
it just
dude.
happens.
Every single weekend, I'm like, dude, I'll probably go down this weekend. Like I'm gonna fuck up or somebody's gonna get me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just the competition's too high, and you go the next weekend. I never felt the pressure that whole 2002 until the last moto. I'm like, dude,
I won every
I win
one.
23. I win 23 motos. Like I can't drop the ball, and so like I've never felt pressure up until then.
Yeah.
Of my whole career, or like I was like nervous. Like,
Yeah.
dude, I can't mess this up. Never, ever have felt that pressure until that. I'm like, damn, I hope like people experience this every single weekend.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. There ain't no way.
And you did it 2 years in a row?
I did it in 2002 and then 2024.
So rad.
Yeah, it was crazy.
2004.
2004, 2002, 2004.
Yeah.
One thing I wanted to know is how do you win 67 national amateur championships? How's that even possible?
Yeah,
You go to
because
every fucking race on the planet.
Like, how do
you go to
how do
every
run-
race. You go to every race on the planet.
Your parents pay for everything and you're there.
That's right. Yeah, it's like you go to every single amateur race and you race every class that you can race, that you're allowed to race. So
How many classes do you think you're racing a
Yeah,
weekend?
711 stock and modified 60s, 711 85 stock and modified. Then you go to the 80cc and not 65 and 80s. Then when I was moved up to the big bikes, I'm racing like 125 stock and mod A, 250 stock and mod A.
And you don't have practice bike mechanics back then. It's like
Dude,
you
listen,
and dad
my
working on everything.
parents were like poor, dude. We lived in a motorhome for 2.5 years, and that's one thing like about my journey that like, listen, I had a talent. There's no doubt about that.
Yep.
Like I was able to ride a dirt bike, but one thing I feel like that I was given was I was able to realize and see the sacrifice that my parents made at a very young age.
Which a
I
lot
can
of kids
remember
don't
like 11
understand
years
that.
old, like there were times where I wanted to quit, dude. I hated racing, hated it. And practicing and all that, especially at that young age, from like 10 to 14, hated it because there wasn't greener pastures, and my practice bikes were clapped, And yeah, I didn't have no practice bike mechanic, and it's just it gets so monotonous and redundant, and you're just like, dude, get me out of here.
Why am I
but
doing this?
but I always saw like the struggles that my parents would go through to get me there, and so just basically I didn't want to let them down.
Yeah.
And they call my bluff once in a while. I'm like, I just want to quit. They're like, well, go ahead and quit if you want to quit. But dude, like, I'm like, I can't. In my back of my mind, I'm like, they're calling my bluff. I'm like, dude, I can't do that. You guys have sacrificed everything. And so I think like that's one of the gifts that I was given outside of the talent, because there are better guys that, like, I mean, take a guy like me and K-Dub. K-Dub is 10 times better. He could go hit a ramp and do it perfectly.
All his transfers he would do and like opening ceremonies were gnarly.
Dude, I'd be like, I'd be crashing all the time, like, you know. And I think I just had that hard work and determination, and I could see what my parents sacrificed. So I just like basically raced for them.
That's so awesome.
Yeah,
It's good, man.
One thing I wanted to know is going against a guy like Jeremy McGrath versus going to a guy like Stewart, and then doing it in different eras. What's the biggest like similarity and the biggest difference?
I think the biggest thing, that's a great question. So the biggest thing of racing a guy like MC is that he doesn't mess up. He doesn't mess up.
So calculated, huh?
So he's so calculated. Every part of the game is just like, I remember following him at the one race, Anaheim 2001. And it was the last race that he won, but like, I'm just following him like, dude, this guy is gnarly. Look how he manipulates the bike. Look how his bike works well here. Look what he's doing. It was such a good core memory race for me, because that helped me step my game up. I'm like, all right, I see what he's doing. Now I see how this dude has won 72 Supercrosses and 7 championships. Now I have to try to emulate that at the practice track
And be better here.
That's right.
Here,
He did nothing wrong. Whereas, you know, James coming up, or Chad, or those guys, like they just seem like they would throw away a race. You know, they'd give you that 5th or that 7th.
You knew if you could just sit back, you're like, oh, they're gonna make a mistake anyways.
right.
I'll be ready to strike.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like you could never bank on MC crashing.
Yeah.
Ever.
I feel like when he rode, like his style was just so smooth, and it looked like he was riding a BMX bike around, like you said, like he would manipulate the bike and make it do whatever he wanted. It was like a little BMX bike. He could just put it in places where like certain dudes couldn't.
But that's where I think that I kind of changed. Not only did I get in shape, and everyone had to get in shape, but I think I was the first guy after MC to be able to come into the game and be a little sloppy on the bike, not be precise. I'm sure it's like that in UFC. Like, you got guys that aren't super, super perfect, but are just tough as shit, and somehow can beat the guy that is on paper should win.
Yeah.
And that's really how I was able to. I knew that MC wasn't willing to get out of the comfort zone. So I'm like, all right, if I'm in good shape and I can make it 20, and I'm willing to let my feet come off the foot pegs a little bit, get buck wild, you know, he's not going to do that. And if I can hold on to it, I think I can get him.
It's so rad. Such a hard way to have like that mindset. You know what I mean? But when you want something and you're determined, you're going to figure it out.
But that he was so good everywhere else. Like that's the only thing I could get him on, similar to Reed. And that was like, I knew Reedy was never going to go out of his comfort zone. I'm like, well, I'm just going to go, I'm going to work on my speed, get uncomfortable. And then that was what was so hard to beat about James, is I couldn't beat him on speed in Supercross. Like, I don't ever think that I ever beat him in Supercross without him crashing or getting a dead last start. I think he always beat me straight up, and I always had to win on a technicality with him.
Were you battling Reed when you went off the track and hit the boat?
Yep.
That was
It
gnarly.
was us three, Stu and Reedy
right.
and I. Yep. I was me and Stu were 1, 2. Chad was 3, and I just like,
were you
again,
tripping?
I was tripping because those whoops were gnarly. And James, he
They
didn't
were
give a
big,
damn,
dude.
and he was going for it, and they were peaked.
Yeah.
They weren't forgiving. They're as hard as this table. And I'm like, dude, well, I got to send it if I'm going to beat this dude. And it didn't work out. Feet came off, and off I go. Dude, I never hit that boat.
What'd you hit?
I hit the photographer. I never hit.
It looked like you hit the boat.
I know it did. No,
But after that, they quit putting the boat on the floor.
Done. And that's probably why they lost their sponsorship with Nautique, right?
I was like, oh my God. Like, everyone thought you hit the boat.
No. I thought that my left side handlebar hit it, but I never did. But I still say like, I
hit the boat.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, as an elite competitor and a professional that's probably, like I said, regarded as the greatest to ever ride 2 wheels.
One of the greatest.
One of them,
There's
yes.
so many.
There's so many.
good-
Yeah.
So many eras of like the greats.
100%. I mean, do you remember, because people always talk about McGrath, they talk about you, you know, the younger kids talk about Jet Lawrence.
Yep.
But do you remember like losing to a guy just as like a competitor standpoint? I just want to know your mindset. You're going against a guy like McGrath who's unstoppable.
Yeah.
You lose at A1, then you have to go to San Diego, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you remember your first win against him, or like what you felt? It was like, all right, this is the click. Because then you go on a tear after that.
Yeah, 100%. So it was 2001. That, remember, I had gotten in shape halfway through 2000, came into 2001 series,
Were you on the
lean,
Cowie?
mean. Yep, Cowie, 2001. And did A1, and I got third. And I was so pissed. I'm like, dude, I put in all this work, and all I got was a podium. MC won. Ezra Lusk got second. I got third. My arms were like bricks, and I was so pissed. And they're like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." I'm like, "This is bullshit." You know, like I worked so hard, and like, yeah, I can win on a bicycle now, but I can't win in Supercross. So then I go to San Diego, and I beat MC. Right, we're battling, going back and forth, and then he makes a little mistake. I get by him kind of late in the race and end up winning him. Like I beat him straight up, but he made a mistake. And then that race that I was telling you about, Anaheim 2, his last race, right? I followed him and I learned so much. I just remember being behind him and it was so easy. And I was learning. I'm like, it was very similar to last weekend when I watched Jet and I watched Eli, where Jet was just all over Eli and just never passed him. I know Eli passed him at the beginning, but he's just there. And it didn't to me look like Jet was overriding and Eli was maxed out. Like I don't think Eli can get any better.
No.
And I think Jet get the bike working a little bit better. The track was a little bit different that catered to his bike and how it works. I think it's a different thing. And that's when I knew coming off that, I'm like, I didn't even care. I got second. I'll beat the guy the rest of the season. And I ended up winning 13 in a row.
So rad.
It was unbelievable, but you just like, you're riding like, okay, I'm comfortable. And then I could see kind of watching him, like he was laboring, like he was tired. Like, and then I got to a point like the last 3 or 4 laps, it's probably like UFC.
Yeah.
You can see a dude when he's tired and he's laboring. He's like, okay.
You know,
so I'm just like waiting. And he never really coughed up that mistake. So I'm like, no big deal. And I didn't want to pull some shenanigan move. I'm just like, I got you at this stage. And that was the moment.
That's when
I was able to eclipse him. Yeah, that's when I knew.
So rad.
It was unbelievable. I got video of that. My manager was videoing me after the race, and I'm like, dude, I think I got him. So it's pretty cool. It's tough though. Like, I mean, that guy, MC, is awesome, dude. Great champion.
So rad.
Great champion.
What was was there any bike that you just gelled with that you loved right away?
Yep. I loved the, my 98 so like us, like, dude, we've been around a long time.
Yeah.
My 98 KX 125, my PC bike was awesome. My 2001 Cowie was pretty good. My CRF 2004 Honda 450 was probably the best bike I ever raced. Dude, I love it.
I remember when you first jumped on that thing, it was insane.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
It was
coming
like
off
cheating.
a 2-stroke to that is like cheating.
Dude, I remember, dude, I loved going to the practice track, and if it was dry, choppy, cupped out, like the gnarlier the conditions, the better it was.
Yep.
I'm like, dude, this is epic. So that one, and then my RM 250, my 2005.
252 stroke?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Those bikes are my favorites. Those are the ones that stick out to me.
How was it with how was the whole process with the whole Triumph deal? And like you basically got to help design that whole bike, right?
From ground up. So they come to me. So my old boss at Suzuki took the general manager position of Triumph America. And so he knew what Triumph was wanting to do. So he's like, hey, whenever your Suzuki deal's up, and my Suzuki deal was coming to an end, there's really nothing left for me to do with them. They weren't going into the adventure world, and their bike is the same pretty much from when I was there.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, hey, he's like, hey, Triumph is wanting to develop a motorcycle. We'd love to have you part of it as an ambassador of the brand, number one, and then be part of the R&D. So I'm like, absolutely. So the talks started around 2018. It came to fruition in 2020. And, you think of it, it's an iconic brand in the motorcycle world. And, you know, every single person at that company touches each bike and each project that they have going on. So it's almost like a family business, if you will. And yeah, it's been fun. I mean, it's had its challenges. We came up through COVID, not to use an excuse, but that slowed everything down.
I could only imagine.
It was, you know, like the good thing about it is they don't outsource a lot of their parts.
Yeah, they built that big place at Walker's, right? And they're like building all their own stuff.
Yeah, so they're building all their own stuff and even their own manufacturing plants and stuff. So they don't have to rely on a lot of people for parts and pizzas, which is good from a production side of things. And yeah, it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun, dude.
It's a lot of work too.
A lot of work and some scrutiny. You know, like when you put your name on something, you know, like you got to be willing to take the good comments and the bad comments, and you know, and it's some of it's subjective, but I think that we've developed a great bike, and the brand is all in.
I think it looks amazing. Like the bike, like aesthetically, like looks so good. Like
thanks, dude.
Yeah.
I've had some great people. I brought in Tedesco to help me do that.
He's a good tester.
Yeah, he's a great tester, and we brought some people, some engineers and technicians in from other brands that helped us along the way that had the experience and the power.
Have you got to ride any of like, say, like some of the most current like team bikes, like a Star bike or like anything like that?
Nothing.
Just
dude.
to see, do a comparison or anything?
No, nothing. But that's kind of what Niner's for. Tedesco's, you know, he's done that and been in that position.
Ridden all
so
the
he
bikes,
knows he knows where the benchmark is.
How was it? Was it bittersweet selling the farm?
It was, but at the end of the day, like, dude, I was burnt from the farm. You know, like my kids don't race. And so what was I going to do with that thing?
Yeah, it was just there.
It was just sitting there. My parents were going there every day. They were having some riders there, and that's how they were earning their living. And then Star came, and they were looking for property. They're looking down in the Central Florida area, the Northern Florida area. And yeah, they wanted to buy it from me. I'm like, dude, this thing's all yours. And I'm so pumped that it went to an organization like theirs.
Yes.
You know, like, and
there's still going to be a bunch of champions coming out of that property.
Dude, they have transformed that place. It's awesome.
I've seen some pictures and video, and I'm like,
badass.
It's insane, dude.
I have a lot of respect for that program, dude.
Did they keep all your old buildings there too? Like
they tore every single thing down out there except one little building that I used to live in. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Everything else is gone. They got like 2 massive buildings out there now.
Like huge buildings.
huge.
Dude, from a business standpoint, what were you thinking like of building this place like out there in the middle of nowhere just for yourself?
Yeah, so well, I bought that place for like 350 grand, 325 grand. I bought it in 99. So I had I put 2 prefab buildings on there, 30 by 40s. And I had a pump with a well and a water truck and a dozer, a bobcat, a couple tractors. But like that was what I needed to do to go out and win, and you know, my investment towards my career. And then once it paid its dues, I didn't have any use for it anymore. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
you weren't really
at the time, it was like no big deal. It paid for itself tenfold. And yeah, that was kind of that was my motto and my thinking when I bought it. I'm like, hey, I'm going to buy this place. I'm going to make the investment to do it. It's not that much, relatively speaking. And the upside is you couldn't turn down that opportunity. And that's why I did it. You basically invested in yourself.
You have to. A lot of people don't understand that. Like I remember when I went to all my sponsors, when I quit riding freestyle, I'm like, instead of you buying all these photos from all these people and buying content of me, I'm like, I'm going to hire my own filmer where I'll just supply everything for you, but I'm not going to ride contests no more. I'm going to go out in the hills and go free riding, but I'll give you whatever you guys need whenever you want. If you guys want to stay on board, if not, it's all good. I totally get it, but I'm like, I'm trying to go this direction so I can have more fun with my career and like prolong it. And they all stayed on board. And it's like, you have to make those investments in yourself for other people to actually believe in you sometimes.
And it's more productive too. Like what you're doing now, instead of being at the mercy of what someone else wants, you go create your own stuff. And like you said, if they're willing to take on the ride and hop on with you, great. If not, dude, appreciate everything that you've done for us in the past.
How was it when you and Hart partnered up and you guys did your own team?
Yeah, it
seemed pretty cool. Like you guys made a huge presence in the pits.
Yeah, it was cool. You know, Carrie's great at marketing, as you know that. And so the idea was was that my NASCAR stuff had dried up. And so I'm like, man, it'd be kind of cool to have a race team or be part of a race team. And I was doing my due diligence throughout the paddock. And I had kept in contact with Carrie throughout the years because, like yourself, saw you when I was growing up. And I was racing while Carrie was racing also when he was before he went to FMX. And so kept in touch with him along the years. And so I asked him, like, hey, would you ever consider having me as a co-partner? And this is what I could bring to the team. You have this demographic, I have this demographic. I think we put it all together. I think we'll have both angles covered. And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Let's start exploring. Kenny Watson put us, Kenny Watson, it was kind of his idea. Mm-hmm. And one thing led to another. And we went and pitched Suzuki. Suzuki was all for it. And dude, we were off to the races. We formed up RCH, the entity. And it was really cool. I mean, it was a great experience. We got to do a lot of cool things. I wish we could have won a Supercross series or championship, but we won the outdoor championship with Kenny, which is really cool. And just, it's crazy, like kind of like what you're doing, and Bear, like what you're doing, like you just keep chugging along, dude. Like it's like this opportunity comes up and you do that and you're like, damn, I think some of the best things that happen is shit that isn't planned.
100%.
Right? Like if you go into something, dude, I want to make so much money, blah, blah, blah. I feel like if you have that in mind, you're already hosed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. If you're doing it just for money, you got to be passionate about it. I mean, listen, do we all want to make some cheddar? Hell yeah. I mean, we ain't in the money losing business. We ain't trying to spend it. Yeah, right. We ain't trying to spend it, but we also, we want to have fun while we're doing it. And that's a special place to be in. So I think like something like that worked out. Then the Triumph thing came, and that was great. And then I've had some other businesses like car wash stuff. Have you heard about that?
No.
So I had some car wash businesses. I was a minority partner in like automatic car washes, like
Fast
in
Five.
Florida. Fast Five.
Get a membership.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So we did that, and then sold that a couple years ago. And thankful for the opportunity. I had a friend in Tallahassee that opened it up, and then we started with one, and we had two, and next I think we had 9 in total.
Nice.
Yeah, and sold it off,
right.
And that was awesome. So but never anticipated on doing anything.
It's got to be cool though to like know that like if it wasn't for dirt bikes, you wouldn't have anything that you have right now. The friends that you have, like just you know what I mean. Like I feel like dirt bikes has brought me so much, and I'm so grateful for it. That's like. I wouldn't have any of my friends that I have right now if I didn't have my motorcycles.
You know what's crazy though? Is like when I got divorced and now my wife like I've met new people. Mm-hmm. So I have like groups of friends. I have my friends that I hang out with that are like family to me in moto. But then I've met a whole new group of friends over here with my new wife that I married 3 years ago. So that's been a wild and fun experience.
That's called growing up. Because like dude, like I have so many friends that like I'm never looking for new friends. I don't even have enough time for like my friends that are like my family, Yeah. I remember when I go to my kids' school all the time, like I wouldn't look at anyone. Just like I don't want to talk to no one. I don't want to meet no one. And it's like I finally one day like I called some lady out because she like posted this picture of me on the internet.
I remember that.
Of my park job. And I came to the school the next day and all the parents were like, thank you so much. I hate that bitch. Like she's stuck up, blah, 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 blah. And like, I met so many rad parents that like we're friends with today. We've been friends with for the past 8-9 years now. And then they're like some of my best friends.
You know what I'm like? I'm like that with our homeowners association, dude. I think they hate me. I don't hold loud shit. They like, but at the same time, I'm going to like do what I think is right and what everyone else is thinking. Like, dude, thank God you said something. That is awesome. Not to your extent, but so it's been cool, like as far as like growing up and just as we get older, and I do things with my friends on that side and I do things with my friends on this side. It's cool.
One thing I wanted to know from a business standpoint, from working with brands like Kawasaki and Honda, Suzuki, now an amazing partnership with Triumph, which I think is amazing because you're showing the blend of like an actual athlete now more on a business side, a design side, because you obviously know the game more than anyone. what is advice for like a young rider or someone coming up in the game that's even not even in the sport of moto, but just an elite athlete of yourself, working with brands that you learned over the years, working with all these different conglomerates?
I think the biggest thing that I would say, and I tried to have this motto and outlook, is build relationships with all these people. I don't think that there is a manufacturer that I couldn't go to, whether it's Cowie, whether it's Suzuki, whether it's Honda, and not get something. You know, treat everyone how you want to be treated. That's
100%.
what, right? Like, dude, it doesn't matter if it's a dude sweeping the damn floor.
Nope.
When each team that I rode for, I worked as hard as I could to have my own personal relationship with each dude on the team, whether it's suspension guy, engine guy, my mechanic, obviously, team manager. Bus driver. It doesn't matter. Like, you know, the suspension guy likes football. You talk about football. Oh, the engine guy, dude, he loves going and eating chicken wings at this place. Man, that place is good. Have you ever been over there? Like, because they're working for you, and you know, they spend a lot of time away home. So the more welcome that you make them feel, build that brand and build that relationship with those companies. It doesn't seem like it makes a difference. I mean, Twitch, you know this. Bear, you know this. In the end, I think it does. I think it does matter, and just don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
You know, like don't think that you're bigger than somebody.
Yep.
Straight
that.
Straight
Seriously.
up. Just
I like that.
dude, it's my wife.
be more real.
My wife always tells me, like, we always have these conversations. Like, it's so much easier to be nice than it is to be an asshole.
It is. It's so much less effort.
Right.
And it's like, why not have a smile on your face all the time? Like, I'm happy I get to do what I do for a living still, and have fun, and have a beautiful family, and get to travel the world still. It's like, what do you have to be mad about?
That's right.
Like,
I think this guy's the best representation of that. This guy's always excited to be here, always excited to work with people, always excited to see other athletes, other sports. He's not like stuck to his ways.
No.
And that's like the best thing when you're working with, because people don't understand that working with an elite athlete like you guys, a world champion, like, yeah, you have your own ways because that's how you got to where you need to be. But if you're open-minded, the doors just keep opening.
You have to be a little bit you have to be
100%.
selfish in your heyday, my heyday. I mean,
For sure.
you have to. It's like it is. It is. But now it's about other people. And it's like Twitch. I love about Twitch. It's like, he who cares less wins. You don't give a damn, dude.
I don't care what anyone thinks besides my wife and my kids. That's it.
Yeah. And you and your friends and your partner. Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. So you know, I just want to keep on. Keep on keeping on, dude. And
Is it true Feld makes you stand on a stool during TV so you're taller?
no, I already told you this. I stand on my wallet.
Why?
So
That was the best one ever.
So, dude, he caught me at a bad time. We were in East Rutherford, and he comes strutting in. I don't know.
I was just feeling spunky.
Was you with Ninja, maybe?
Oh, yeah, I think
You
I was
might
with
have
Taka
been
and Keith.
Taka.
Like, we just got done doing our show.
you
I felt
guys
good
did
about
something.
myself.
He's like, hey, Carmichael. He's like, what?
You were carrying your suit. You're going up to the.
Oh,
you're
was
going
I?
up
He's
right
like
now.
something about, hey, Carmichael, what you blah, 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 blah. Why are you so short? I said, I don't know. Let me stand on my wallet and see how short I am. And they just burned like, oh.
I was dying,
dude. And listen,
dude.
I hate attention, right? Like, some people like, you just want to be on TV because you love attention. I'm like, dude, I like being on TV because I love sharing my knowledge with people. I don't need attention.
Which
I'm okay.
we all appreciate.
I can go back
we
to
love.
Florida and be just fine.
And chilling,
You're
dude.
right.
I don't need to do
like,
anything.
not traveling and all that. But like, and I hate saying anything like that. And I ripped that saying off from somebody. I can't remember.
It's
let
a
me
good
see it.
one.
I'm like, right. So he did it. And I'm like,
quoting you.
he laid it out there for me. So yeah,
was
you
so
can quote
smooth.
it,
I
use
set
it. I'm not,
myself
so
up.
people like
Yeah.
who want to throw hate at me, I'm not saying that, but that they just seemed at the right place, right time. He's like, yeah, dude, Carmichael, why are you so short? I'm like, I don't know. Let me stand on my wallet. Tell me how short I am.
I was like, damn.
You got smoked by him.
Meanwhile, Twitch got, dude, with money like mine, he'd burn it.
Hell
Twitch
yeah.
is
You can't take it to
loaded.
the grave.
No, that's right.
Twitch is the first guy. He's building buildings, buying tractors, building jumps. He spent like $1 million on plants from the Amazonian forest.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I see Twitch, I'm like, dude. I tell Hart, freestyle motocross was good to you.
Yeah, it was.
I always tell Hart, I'm like, man, FMX was good to you, wasn't
Indeed,
it?
it was.
yeah. And he's still doing it at the highest level. Dude, one of the most exciting things I loved about A1 was watching his whole crew and the show they put on. Those demos are like the coolest thing to me.
Them demos are sick.
It's the biggest nostalgic piece that you could have without X Games being at the height it is.
That's what I think about. That's why I think people like SMX and go into those races is because it's real.
Yeah.
Like you see guys like Twitch, Taka, Axel, all those dudes, you know, Keith, and you know, they come there, they're high-fiving, like it's so accessible. Dude, you ain't going to no NBA game and doing that.
No, not seeing other people from other sports there doing it too. Like,
you know what I mean? Like
it's cool. Me and Ryan Sheckler were in the crowd with 500 people, 1,000 people on just one side. There was probably 2,000 people watching the show live.
Yeah,
and we're just there with everybody else, and you're never even going to have that either, where the action sports superstars are in the same area as just the GA.
Yeah.
Like, because they don't care. Sheckler's like, no, let's just sit with the fans and have fun.
We're doing really well too. Like our numbers on streaming on Peacock and stuff are going through the roof.
Rad.
Yeah.
See
But
what I
we
mean?
have that
Moto is
we have
thriving.
that but we have that, you know, that's our market.
Yeah.
You know, we have that audience. So they're in a good place. I still think that there's a lot of room to grow for these dudes to get paid. But like we talked about it earlier in the pod, like what you're doing with Jaxxon and basically collabing these athletes with other athletes, that's the only way to grow. Cross-pollination, right?
Like even this morning, we were sitting down with Hunter and Twitch working on their watch designs for our new JX1.
Yeah.
So that way they can literally be a part of the design process. Because I think like that's the coolest thing too, is with athletes, I don't see a lot of the synergy like they used to have. Like even with the kits, Twitch still has like the coolest kits. You know, the Lawrence brothers are pretty hyped on that, and they always want to work on their new kits. It's good for the fans too. People want to be excited to watch their favorite athlete or their favorite champion ride and gear and then be able to go buy it.
Right.
What's your full involvement now with Supercross and motocross and AMA?
Yeah, so I'm an analyst for NBC, so I have that. I do all of the Supercrosses and the playoff rounds, and then I'll sprinkle in a couple outdoors depending upon which ones that NBC wants me to go to. So I got a few more years on that deal that I'm excited about. After that, we'll see what happens. But I just signed an extension with Triumph and ambassador work. Thanks, yeah, with Fox and Monster, and really that's it. I got a pretty good balance right now as far as travel, and we're burning it down. Through Supercross season, 16, 17 rounds, 1 weekend off. But it's not bad, and I enjoy it. Got the podcast
too, bring the kids out.
That's
and
right.
stuff.
Got the podcast, but my kids they'll be 18 in March. So I mean, Twitch, you know about this?
Yeah.
They're gonna be gone in a year and a half to college.
We
so,
count summers.
What am I gonna do?
We got 4 summers left. We're like, dang, it's gonna come up quick when you count by summers.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, yeah, we only and so we're split up. So like. This spring break, I don't have them, but I have them their spring break for their senior year.
Yeah.
So we just we alternate for our timeshare. And so it goes when it's that situation, it definitely goes quick. But dude, I just want to keep on doing it. Like we talked about, you just have these silly opportunities that but they're fun and you can be passionate about it. And the travel's a lot, for sure. 100%. I never thought that I would travel this much after racing, because I remember I was so burnt out. I'm like, dude, I mean, you know how it is.
Were you that guy that was always getting private jets and shit too? Or?
I did. I went through the private jets. You
took a private jet to all the events?
Him and Stu and Reed would do it all the time.
We were big dogging it, but it was a lot cheaper back then.
Wait, how were you doing this?
So I was buying the fly cards with Citation Shares. Cessna owned the company, and I would do like 85 hours, and it was 25 hours, and I think it was like 85,000. I was doing like 4 of those a year, so it's just adding up.
But it was nice getting into the race late.
Well, that was
early,
the thing. And I would only use it because being on the East Coast, I would only fly on the East Coast. So basically draw a line from Dallas all the way north to Canada. I'd only fly it on the East Coast because I could get basically from Tallahassee to anywhere in that region, that side of the United States, and on 1 tank of gas with the jet. So
nice.
That's what I did.
He was strategic with that.
Yeah. So for the outdoors, this is when we were racing on Sundays. That's how old I am. I could leave home Saturday morning and then get there like by 1. We'd have afternoon practice. I'd race on Sunday and I'd be home Sunday. So I only was gone 1 night. Whereas if I was if I was flying commercial, I'd have to leave Friday. I wouldn't be able to get home until Monday.
Yeah, you're losing 2 days.
Same for And so I got a lot of my life back. And honestly, I started doing that only like the last 3 years. when I was with Suzuki. And I think that helped me get it was almost like an investment because I got those days back. I wasn't smoked from traveling, and it kept me motivated because I felt good the next day that I got up. I'm like, fuck, I feel good. Let's go.
You always feel better when you sleep in your own bed.
Yep.
One last thing I had for you. First of all, I want to say thank you for coming.
No, dude, thanks. I feel like, dude, we could talk like this is an awesome conversation, and it's like it's real.
Yeah,
you know,
that's what I like.
It's no bullshit. Yeah, it's no bullshit.
And it's cool too. I love being able to, like I said, expose all the different brands and all the different cultures. So I think the audience will love hearing from you at this authentic level. Twitch normally brings that out of people.
Because I'm in my own bubble, you know, like it's crazy. It's like when I've been on some other shows, it's like I just kind of stick to my own thing, you know? Like I do my own things. Like what's that guy doing? I think that helped me out in racing though. Like my dad always used to tell me, he's like, dude, the minute you start worrying about what they're doing, they got you beat.
That's when you mess up.
You go do your thing. All you can do, dude, if you can freaking win, great. If you can't, but if you can get second, you at least got to get second. You can't take a second and turn it into a fifth. So like my whole career, dude, I just went out. Of course I wanted to win and would kick everybody's ass. But at the same time, there were times where I wasn't faster. We talked about it. Mm-hmm. There's times where I wasn't going to be faster than James or Greedy or MC or Wyndham, you know, throughout my progression. So I'm just like, I'm just going to go get second today.
Yep. Like Roxon, like right before Anaheim too, he's like, I just had a feeling in my bus today. He's like, I want to get second place. And he went out and get second place. He's like, never do I ever want to think I want to go get second place. But he's like, that's kind of like what it felt like today.
But that's how it is sometimes, dude. Like there were more races than you would think that I'm like, God, especially Supercross, the older I got. And in the early years, it was like, I just like, dude, I'm stoked with third.
Yeah, let me get on the
Go
podium.
out there
I'm stoked.
and do that. You know, realistic expectations too, man. I think like some people don't have realistic expectations.
Yeah.
They ain't being honest with themselves.
For sure.
You gotta be honest with yourself. Like me going to an FMX like freestyle event, dude. I know I can't do shit. So why am I even gonna pretend like I can compete with these dudes?
Hey, you did though. You rode X Games for a couple years, and you got a gold. What, do you get a gold?
Dude, huh?
How many medals did you get?
Three, bro.
Three.
Me, I had a co-gold. Me and Renner.
Yeah, that's right.
How do you get a co-gold?
They both cleared the bar, and then they both.
We basically tapped.
Yeah,
because
it was gnarly.
Shit.
Dude,
I had the worst style in that, dude. I sucked.
Hey, but how gnarly a step up! Like when it starts getting
honestly,
that high,
I used to watch you guys. Like I'm like, I want to do that when I'm not racing Supercross
that one looks
anymore.
Easy. Let me jump the bar. That's easy. I can jump that.
That was the biggest mistake. I went to the first X Games to do it. I'm like, I fucked up.
Yeah,
this is hard, bro. It don't look. Hey, TV does not do that justice.
No, man. Step up's gnarly, dude. It's a gnarly event.
The higher you go, you can't get the rotation down. You land like a ton of bricks. I'm just like,
slapping
dude.
down.
I was like, dude, I got sold on that one, dude.
Sometimes you're going so high, you're only catching like 2 foot of tranny at the very bottom, like into the belly. Like,
oh, bro.
Gnarly.
And you know me, that's like, the young buck came out. I'm like, I ain't gonna be outdid, bro.
I ain't getting beat by one of these freestyle guys.
Oh no, dude, hell no!
I can't do that to my community.
so crazy to even attempt it.
That's right. It's like, dude. I don't ever think that. I will tell you this. I don't ever think that when I was doing Step Up that it was like me versus freestyle world. Never was that. It was just this is my pride. I want to win this beast.
When you're the best at what you do all the time, you want to be good at every single thing.
And
you
if
do.
you know you have a legit shot to win, that's when it's like, dude, it don't matter. We could be playing racquetball. We could be.
I'm gonna beat you.
We could be. Yeah. That's right.
And when you did it too, like that's when Renner was on his shit. Like Renner was really good at Step Up. Like his technique, like everything he had was really good.
Yeah, he was legit. Yeah. I had a good time with that. Like I had a good time. Like, and when I went and watched you guys at the first X Games, that's where I always had a lot of respect. But it's like just seeing it in person. It's like another thing. It's like whether you're down on the Supercross track watching these guys go through the whoops, how gnarly they are, or you're at a demo, or you're at a freestyle show. Dude, you have to go check it out. It's so gnarly what these y'all ain't right, dude.
No, it's a whole different level. I saw them jumping like a Sea-Doo, a jet ski out there, and I go, all right, I give up. This is ridiculous.
Our boy Willie was jumping the snowmobile at Anaheim.
Oh yeah.
Like, this is just crazy.
It's gnarly.
It's just
is
so
that the
big.
same dude I saw in Barcelona? No,
different dude. Different.
That guy was huge.
Yeah. Gnarly.
Yeah, the things they do on a bike, I'm just like, I can't even fathom doing that. I got the 450. I'm racing around the block. I got Jet and Hunter here. I got Twitch. I get on that thing. I'm like, wow, this is a lot faster than my little pit bike. And then it has the clutch and it has all this nonsense. And I'm like wearing these big boots. Like I'm not as fast as I was on my little pit bike that just automatically goes really fast. I might have to go back to my Super 73. One thing I got for you before I let you go is destinations.
Yes.
450 versus 250. You know, you got the 2-stroke out there. Everybody's kind of like counting you out or whatnot. Then you go out there and just put on a clinic. Yeah. Like a masterclass. Yeah. Well, explain to me this thing real quick.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, number one, that event is probably one of the best events you could ever go to on from a dirt bike perspective. I mean, you've been to the Motocross of Nations, so it's like trying to explain Vegas to someone. You just can't explain it. You got to go there and experience the vibe.
It's insane.
It is a lot of pride on the line. I mean, it's deep
from everyone. The fan, every spectator's like they're repping their country. You know, like it's a cool environment.
It is a very, very it's a bitchin' environment. And that was a special race. It was a really special race, and I don't know how the hell I did it. I just think I just had so much pride.
What year was that?
2003. 2003 in Zolder, Belgium. Was gnarly. Me and Everett's were just battling it out, but
Everett's was dope,
what they didn't understand, like that track though. Dude, that dirt and stuff was exactly like that I had at the goat farm.
Oh, no way.
So when I got there, I'm like...
You just looked at it, you're like, it's on.
It's game on.
But it was his home track?
It's game on, yeah. Well, they had made a track there. It wasn't his home track. It was his home country, though.
We
didn't win as a country.
Yeah, but you still schooled everyone. You know, you went home going, right, bitch?
My ACL was torn there.
It was.
Actually, yeah.
It's rad though too, like when you can go somewhere and like you look at the dirt and you get the feeling of like, oh yeah. I know exactly what this dirt's
that
gonna
dirt
do.
there was similar to Redbud, very similar, or like intermediate to soft sand. It was a bitchin' track.
What about 05 Nations?
Oh, dude, at Ernay, that was one of the most epic because you're like in a bowl, right?
So and it's just crowd, like just
dude, enormous crowd. Yeah. I mean, whatever contest you've ever been to,
times 100.
I wouldn't say times 100, but how stacked it was, and it was standing room only, shoulder to shoulder. That's probably, it'd be like basically imagine going to the MGM Grand Arena or wherever they have UFC fights now in Vegas. Like, imagine that, but a dirt bike race.
It so was gnarly.
What year was this?
2005, Ernay, France. ERNEE.
So gnarly.
Nation. Dude, it was epic.
Yeah.
It was epic.
It's got to be sick to just be a part of that, you know?
Yeah. You know, another thing that, what you asked me, Bear, like what I would tell young kids coming up or dudes coming up, whatever, in their respective sport, like, do your best. Just do the absolute best that you can do, because if you don't, you'll never get that opportunity back, especially in motorcycle
You'll
riding,
always
dude.
wonder, what could I have done?
I never wanted to do that.
And that's why I always tell everyone, I'm like, you never know unless you try.
That's right.
You have to try.
Yeah.
If you're going to think about it and you're going to wonder, you have to figure it out.
Yeah.
Like if you don't try, you'll never know.
That's right.
At least put some thought and try it,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like that is insane.
That's
dude.
nuts.
Like,
yeah, it was unbelievable.
That's the sickest photo.
It was a rat. Yeah, that's one of my favorite ones of my career. But yeah, I mean, just wrapped around, just a sea of people. It was epic. Yeah, we kicked ass that day. It was good. I think it was me, Wyndham, and Tedesco, I think.
So rad.
That's got to be like one of the best feelings.
Yeah.
I mean, just looking at this photo.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
That was a lot of those. I wish I had more memories of
right?
that,
Yeah. It's like you're in the moment, and then after that race is done, you're like, all right, off to the next one.
That's right. But I think I feel like that's how it would be in a lot of stuff. Even like
for sure,
even like business. You're like, okay, we sold car washes. Okay, now what's next?
Yeah, it's like you almost like take it for granted, but it's like there's so many milestones that you've done in your career where you can look back and be like, yeah, that was cool, but if you stayed in that moment, you wouldn't have got the next milestone.
That's right.
You can't live in the past.
That's right.
Yeah, the hardest thing even in business and life and anything, I always tell my partners, I always talk about this. My dad's brought this up to me since I was 10, is like being in the moment, being present through the trials, through the tribulations, through the success is the hardest part about life.
Yeah.
Because you really don't learn unless you're present in the moment, because you don't retain that. Then you also can't evolve because you're not really in that moment. You're not letting yourself absorb it.
Right.
So I read an interesting book before we go. It says like, there's a small group of people. It's like a religious belief that every 7 years let go of everything they own
Yeah.
and completely start fresh.
Yeah.
And it would allow them to detach from everything they had, business, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and they can like reset.
Right.
And every
Start
time they
over
would do
again.
that, it'd be like a new take on life. So rather than waiting till you're dead, you got to like have multiple retakes on life.
That's pretty cool.
And it's a really cool concept because in business, we always do it here. Like every 30 days, I completely destroy my warehouse and rebuild the
everything,
gym. And
like-
I break everything, sometimes a little too crazy. And I'm just like, don't worry. I was going to buy it all new anyways. You know, brand new speakers, brand new. We spent $100,000 on the podcast room. I gave everybody a baseball bat from Blake Snell and Jock Peterson. I said, tear this thing apart. We went in there, destroyed it
Just
one day.
going for it.
Yeah, it's like an emotional day. Everybody get it
Yes.
out. And then we rebuild this thing for Twitch and Sheckler and P-Rod and Rampage and all the different shows we have. So it's cool though, because that's the biggest thing I think for athletes too, is like you can't learn from your moment and you can't really absorb it unless you're there.
You know, one thing that I have, like, I want to tip my cap to you, and like, in being in business, Twitch, you know about this also with DBK is like, and I learned it from the car wash stuff, is like the toughest thing about business and not being able to ride a dirt bike and make money and do stuff like that is you have to rely on others, you know, whereas in moto, like, dude, you control your destiny.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's you and FMX, whether it's me behind that gate, you know,
Yeah.
I control my destiny, where you can make a killer product. You have created something very, very special, but you just got to hope that they buy it.
Yeah. And
You
that's
know,
where the
like
marketing
that,
comes in.
dude, that's
and
where, like, for me, marketing and
personality,
Like, so
just
like
all
now,
that.
like outside of racing, I see people like you and Twitch, what you've been able to do. It's like, man, it's special. I have a lot of respect, because I just try to put good people around me, because I don't have what it takes to do that.
But like that's another key of you being intelligent and being like, okay, I don't know how to do this, but this guy does. I'm gonna bring him with me. Okay, hey, who does this? Oh, you are. You cruise with me too. You know what I mean? Like you build yourself a circle.
That's right. That's right. Hey, and I'll be the first to say, you know, I think a lot of people, you probably see it in business, like they're so scared to hire someone that's better than them because they don't want get their job taken.
I want to learn from them.
That's how I
want
am.
you
Like,
around
dude,
me.
come in here.
I want to hang out with
We
smarter
just talked
people.
about that yesterday.
Did you?
Yeah, me and Twitch, because we were like, if I'm only so good at one thing, I'm smart enough to know I don't know everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if I don't bring in someone that can handle inventory, or if my partner can't handle the site and the maintenance and then the availability and the conversion and the money, like
Right.
someone's got to make sure bills are paid. Someone's got to make sure we're ordering inventory, balancing the website.
Yeah.
I could do the best marketing, work with the best athletes, put on the best show. Someone's still got to make sure that our fulfillment center is sending out packages. Like during
I
the
feel
holidays, we
like-
did 10,000 packages a day. Someone's got to make
Yeah.
sure those all went out.
I'm with you.
I feel like that's like one of the reasons I've had success in my career is I've watched everyone around me and I've always tried to learn something from everyone that I'm in contact with, whether
Got it.
it was Metzger in the beginning, Deegan, Hart's a guy I still call today. Like, yo,
What do you
I'm
think
talking
of
to
it?
this company, like, what would you do here? Or, hey, when you did this deal, like, what was it like? You know, like I always ask everyone for, I always have questions. I'm always looking for more information so I can be better at what I do.
Yeah.
That's key too. Before we wrap this up, is like not having an ego. Like I'm the first one, if Twitch hits
Amen.
me up or vice versa. Hey, I need a manufacturer for this. Hey, what do you think about that? What's the pricing on that? Yeah, give me 2 seconds. Let me figure it out. Because if I grow at a fast level and you're not growing with me, it's either going to cause resentment or it's going to be a one-way street. And if it doesn't go both ways, then our partnership, our relationship
Doesn't work.
isn't going to work either.
Yep.
That
You know,
100%.
so that all that goes into making something successful.
Yep.
Just similar to you though, you need a good staff, you need a
Yep.
good coach, you need a good pit, you need a good mechanic.
Yep.
You got to make sure the parts are good, the bike's right.
So you're only as good as the people you have around you.
Same thing.
right.
Yeah.
Yo, I couldn't be more honored to have you on the podcast today.
Thanks. Thank you.
Couldn't appreciate you more. Twitch.
Thanks Twitch for
Phenomenal.
we've been trying to work on this since last year. I'm glad that it worked out. It's perfect. Thanks. Congrats to both of you guys,
Yeah.
man. It's awesome. I love the what you guys are creating, the culture that you're creating. That's what's cool.
Yeah.
And seeing the athletes like just vibe on it, and it's raw, it's real. That's cool.
One team, one dream. Thank you guys for watching the Jaxxon Sports Podcast. We're going to be bringing you a lot more guests. Make sure you guys leave a comment, subscribe. Let us know who you guys want to see next. And we'll definitely give you guys an update after San Diego A2. We'll be bringing in a lot more talent. People are going to be explaining what's going on in the world of moto. Thank you, Twitch, for coming on.
Thank you.
We'll see you guys next time.